The first night of the Jewish holiday Hanukkah fell on the same day as Christmas for the first time since 2005.
WIFR reporter Alyssa Kelly talks with members of the Jewish community about why this year Hanukkah landed much later in the month.
The miracle of Hanukkah was that this little thing of oil that was only supposed to last one day lasts 8 days. That's why we celebrate for 8 days and we light the 8 candles symbolizing the oil.
Hanukkah 2024 is underway, but this year brought a rather unique occurrence.
The fact that Hanukkah started on Christmas Day, which is fairly late in the calendar, that's more rare.
According to Rabbi Bina Wing, the Jewish calendar is based on the moon, which is a cycle of about 354 days. So about 7 times every 19 years, an extra month is added to keep Jewish holidays aligned with the correct seasons of the 365-day solar calendar. That pushes the holiday back this year.
The very latest that Hanukkah can start is December 26th. So this is pretty late.
But Wing says a few years ago, the contrary happened, making the holiday much earlier than usual.
Hanukkah actually started around the time of Thanksgiving. And so Hanukkah and Thanksgiving were overlapping.
Wing explains her congregation has a number of families who are interfaith families, celebrating both Christmas and Hanukkah. She says Hanukkah falling on the same day as Christmas does not affect the celebrations.
And I've heard it both ways. You know, some families really like it if Hanukkah is totally separate. Like they want Hanukkah to just be its own thing, and then Christmas can be its own thing. And then some families like it when they overlap. And I think a lot of Jewish people feel the same way.
In the state line, Alyssa Kelly, WIFR News.
Christmas and Hanukkah will happen at the same time again in the years 2035 and 2054.
Set your calendars.
Yeah.
All right. Well.